All right, what is going on in Guatemala? That was Vice President Kamala Harris now saying she will go to the border after drawing criticism from all sides following her first overseas trip. First, she told Lester Holt she went to the border until he said, well, you went to the border. She said, no, I haven't gone to Europe either. Former U.S. Border Patrol Chief and Deputy Commissioner Ronald Vitiello joins me right now to talk more about it. Ron, thanks very much for being here. Your assessment of the Vice President's trip.
Well, I'm wondering what's so funny. You know, they have a crisis on the border that started on January 21st, and she seems to be, making her laugh every time she's asked about it. CBP was overwhelmed all of February, March, and part of April. And there's thousands of people coming to the border. We've sent a signal around the globe for people to send their children without their parents to the border. From everywhere, not just the Northern Triangle or Guatemala, where she is now. So I'm wondering why it's so hilarious that we have to laugh about visiting the border. Why doesn't she go there? Because the mayors and the sheriffs and the people who are in leadership along the border are going to ask her some very tough questions. Why did you let this happen? Why did you reverse the policies that were keeping the border under control and not having a crush of humanity at the border? Why did you reverse that without being prepared, without giving the augmentation that was required for HHS shelters and Border Patrol stations? Why did you do that? That's a tough question for her to answer. I don't think it's funny, but I think it's very hard for her to answer.
No, it's not funny at all. People are dying on their dangerous trek into Texas, and you're seeing a massive amount of illicit narcotics coming into this country. And we had 90,000 overdoses of Americans in the last year, largely due to fentanyl. That fentanyl is coming over the border where she won't go. You know, Ron, I also think it's interesting that she chose to go to Guatemala and Mexico City. I mean, why? I mean, the truth is, you know, people coming over the border are from all over. I mean, Brandon Judd, the head of the Border Patrol Union, was with us yesterday, and he said people are coming from 51 countries. Okay, we were on the ground a couple of weeks ago. I took the show to the border. We met people from Romania. So it's not just Guatemala and Mexico City.
Correct. It's people from all over the globe, because the way the policy worked before January 21st and how it's working now, if children come to the border unaccompanied, then they're going to be released into the United States. That's a very powerful incentive. If you're in a poor country, or if you're in a place like Romania where you have no economic opportunity for your children, you're going to send them to the border. And you're right, they face enormous risks in the pipeline from corrupt governments, from smugglers and the cartels that will abuse and use them to ply their trade. And the Border Patrol, instead of patrolling the border and being present on the line, have to do care and comfort for lots of children and families coming to the border.
So where do you think this is going, Ron? I mean, I know that you've said that the three important things that Joe Biden blew off and that President Trump put in place were remain in Mexico. He overturned that. Build the border wall. He stopped construction of the border wall, and then he reinstituted catch and release. Do you believe these are the things that need to be reinstated?
That's what worked before. Every surge at the border, like what we're seeing now, and the one we're seeing now is probably the biggest the department has ever seen. The incentives and the consequences. If people are held in custody so they can have their due process in immigration court, and then removed if they don't prevail, or welcomed if they do prevail, that's what has to happen. It worked with the Remain in Mexico program, right? They waited in Mexico versus being released into the United States. In 2014, during the Obama administration, when they held families in residential centers so they could have their hearings in court, that worked. So that's what needs to change. That policy needs to change. Now, it looks like this administration is not willing to do that. Congress could act, and they could legislate a Remain in Mexico program, or they could add resources to the department so people can be held appropriately for their due process.
Well, I just wish they weren't so petty with this inability to admit some of the things President Trump did actually fix the situation, whether it be, galvanizing the pharma sector to come up with a vaccine in 10 months or all of these policies at the border. But they just don't want to give Trump any credit, so they're willing to hurt the country. Ronald Vitiello, we will continue to follow it. It's good to see you this morning, sir. Thanks very much, Ron. We'll be right back.
Thank you.